How's it going, everybody? I've been asked to do some sample problems from the homework, the 15.1 and 15.2 practice. So I'm going to give that a shot here on the whiteboard. We'll see how it goes. I'm also looking at testing out some virtual whiteboard stuff. So we'll just try both and see what works the best. Okay, so we're not going to do questions 2 and 3 because there's no temperature change. And when there's no temperature change, our equation, Q equals M times C times delta T, doesn't work, because if delta T is 0, then the whole thing turns into 0. So for these questions, they're either going to ask you about how much heat, about the mass, or the specific heat. One of these things is going to be missing. They're going to tell us all the other ones. So we're just going to look and see which one we don't know and solve for that one. In number 1, they want to know how much heat. So we're solving for Q, which means we need an M and a C and a delta T. So we're just going to fill in those values. So the mass they give us is 5 grams. We know that our value for C is 2.09. And then we're going to have a change in temperature. It went from -10 to 0, so that is a change of 10 degrees. So we would just need to multiply all of those things together to get our value for Q. So it looks like we're going to have 50 times 2.09, and then our answer is always going to be in joules. So let's take a look at one where we're solving for something other than Q. In number 7, they want to know the specific heat. So if Q equals MC delta T, to solve it for the specific heat, which is C, we need to divide both sides by M and delta T. So if I do that, and the M and the delta T cancel out, C is just Q over M times delta T. And now we can fill in our numbers. So we know that the mass is 50. We know that Q is 2761.44, and the temperature is 60. Remember to put the bottom in parentheses. And also remember that when you get a value for C, it should be less than 4.184. Otherwise, you know it's wrong, because water has the biggest specific heat. When you get to a question where it asks you about the new temperature, number 5 asks you for the final temperature. So if we go back to our Q equals MC delta T, you want to solve for delta T. So we're going to divide both sides by M and C. So now delta T is just Q over M times C. So you're going to put your values in and solve for delta T. Now notice delta T is the change in temperature. It's not the final temperature. So you have to decide whether the temperature goes up or down and then apply that change. So in number 5, it says that heat is absorbed. So that means the temperature is going to go up. So once you know the delta T, we're going to take our starting temp and add to it the delta T to get the final temp. So you have to think about whether you're adding or subtracting there once you get your delta T, and then apply that change to the starting temperature to get your answer. So hopefully that helps you out, and you can take a look at the problems now and give them a shot. Let me know if you have other questions.